Good morning and welcome to BIFA Link TV, your daily dose of industry information. This morning we're joined by Steve Parker, who is fresh back from the FIATA Congress. Welcome back, Steve. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Good. And can you tell us a little bit more about what the FIATA Congress is all about?
As many of our members will know, we at BIFA are a member of FIATA. FIATA is a global organisation set up for trade associations like ours to represent us on the global stage. And every year they have a congress, and we have just returned from that. The UK or BIFA sends a little delegation. We take an active part in what's going on because obviously it's important for our members that we influence what goes on around the world.
Sure. And can you talk us through some of the key topics of discussion?
It's a week's event, so there's a lot that happens. There's lots of topics, lots of discussions. I think a little bit left field for them, because you can imagine they planned this months in advance, was the stuff that was coming out of the TSA for the extra security or the extra data that they're requiring for the USA, Canada and Australia. And there was a lot of talk about that and about how that all comes together. And a bit frustrating, really, because what is clear is there was a bit of an incident in Europe, and that caused a bit of a, if I say knee-jerk, that's probably a bit unfair, but it did cause a reaction in the US particularly, and they all of a sudden required all this extra data. Now, of course, we all want supply chains to be secure. We all want them to be right, so we all want them to have the right data, but some of the way it came out is very difficult. And of course, part of that problem is that the US government deal direct with the airlines. The airlines took that information and interpreted it as best they could, and we ended up with a mishmash of interpretations by the time it reaches us. And indeed, that was very clear at the conference last week, because the airlines were there and there was a bit of discrepancy in some of the feedback we were getting. Nonetheless, it is a requirement. It is something we are having to deal with. If you follow it on the BIFA website, we are doing our absolute best to keep our members up to date so that they know what the latest information, what the latest situation is. And we'll do all we can to keep that as relevant and as ready as possible. Sure. So they're a bit left-fielded with that, and nonetheless very important for a lot of our members. The other thing that caught my attention, actually, was a bit of talk about technology in our industry. And one of the expert speakers used the phrase, and he said, there won't be another time like this where technology moves as slowly as it does today. And I'm a bit of a technical Luddite. That scared the hell out of me. For me, technology is moving quick anyway, and the fact that this is the slowest was a bit scary. But I sort of understood the point he was trying to make. As technology improves and it gathers pace, these things are going to happen. Sure. Now, we have our Business Leaders Forum this week, and we are going to talk about AI in our business leaders because we realise that this is a really important issue. So I was glad to hear it from another source, but we'll be ready for it come out our forum. And the last thing that really I like is they have the young logistics professional. I absolutely love this, the way that we engage our youngsters in our industry. And as you may know, the winner of the BIFA award then gets put forward to a European award, which then goes to the Global Award. The Global Award was actually won by a young lady from Germany. And it was great to see these youngsters at our global conference talking about what they're doing in the industry. I'd like for it to be a BIFA person next year, so hopefully somebody from our country can go forward and be a winner, and we'll make something of that for them.
Sure.
So it's been a good week. It was very busy, but nonetheless engaging and very interesting, and hopefully helps us here to prepare stuff for our members so that what we put out for them is relevant.
Sure, that's great. Thank you very much for your update, Steve. That's all for today's episode of BIFA Link TV, your daily dose of industry information.